The rough and the passer calls this year have been bogus.
I'll tell you how we fix NFL officiating. We find them the same way we find a player. Sports betting is coming to Ohio next month, and we are so excited to share a custom offer just for our Caps Off fans. Head to thegameday.com/betmgm and use code GameDay to get $200 free today. Don't sleep on this offer. You can claim it today and use your free $200 as soon as Ohio launches. That's gameday.com/betmgm. Welcome back to another episode of Caps Off. It is Monday, December 19th, coming off, I think, one of the best sporting events I think we've all seen.
Dude, wild weekend across the board. NFL was insane. World Cup final, one of the greatest games I've ever seen. Insane.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, though, can we welcome producer Ben?
Producer Ben is back from his wonderful honeymoon.
He was
trip
on his
to
honeymoon
Australia.
in Australia.
Incredible.
He went to a private island. It was pretty, I've heard some pretty good stories. It sounded awesome.
It looked awesome, Ben. Congrats.
He hung out with the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep.
Apparently.
Yeah, he was saying that was where Pirates of the Caribbean was filmed, which is kind of cool.
We know it. I know it's Pirates of the Caribbean, but like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah,
I say
but the
Caribbean.
movie is Caribbean, but the place is Caribbean.
Is there a reason for that?
No.
I never knew that. I feel like when I was growing up, it was always the debate
Caribbean.
whether it's Caribbean or Caribbean. I always said Caribbean because of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
same.
movie is Caribbean, but
why?
I
It's one of
always
those
call
things.
like if I'm going to the Bahamas, I'm going to the Caribbean. Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna say Caribbean, bro. I'd rather pretend like there's like pirates and shit
There
around
are.
there.
There are. There
Yeah,
definitely are.
there are.
Have you've been?
I was kind of scared of pirates when I was a kid, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I thought they would like pull up to my house or some shit.
All right,
Jack
Davy
Sparrow.
Jones' locker.
Yeah.
But no, great fucking World Cup, man.
Insane.
You know, for
One of
everyone that wants to say that soccer is the real football, you have every right to.
Yeah, that was wild.
Because that was, I think, in my opinion, the greatest sports event I've ever seen in my life. I was better than any Super Bowl I've seen. That was better than any NBA Finals I've seen, other than the Mavs beating the Miami Heat in 2011. But it was an incredible sporting event, bro. I mean, look, the team that loses, Kylian Mbappe scores just 3 goals. How do you score a hat trick and lose in a World Cup final?
Because you're playing against Messi, the GOAT.
Or because the
Exactly.
other team scores 4.
Also,
goals.
Messi
Or
solidified-
not really
that's how math works.
Three, but
That's
then
how
they
math
Also,
works.
Messi
Yeah.
solidified himself as the GOAT.
Can we also just address the elephant in the room?
What?
No Jack today. Jack
Yeah.
is.
Oh, no, Jack today. We forgot
Jack.
to
So
talk
what
about
happened?
that.
Actually, someone in the Discord suggested a Royal Rumble, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow. But actually, Jack died in the Royal Rumble, so
Yeah, we killed him off.
we killed him off first.
Felipe and I are banding together, though, to take you out next.
Yeah.
Shout out
so-
Tristan W.
shout out
who did this
Tristan
out, but we're
W.
going to talk about it tomorrow.
Nah,
'cause it's a pretty
Jack's flying
interesting
home
Royal
for
Rumble.
Christmas, though, for real. He
Flying
was
home for Christmas. He actually was in Denver yesterday
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
Ride With.
Broncos Cardinals game. Ride with.
Ride
So
With Yaz,
check
yeah.
that video out coming out this Wednesday, I
Yeah,
believe.
absolutely.
Messi fully solidified himself as the GOAT this weekend. You know,
Yeah.
getting that World Cup on his belt puts him above Ronaldo for
GOAT.
sure. And I think there's a case to be made to say that Messi's the GOAT of all sports. And I was curious what you guys think.
Yeah,
Would you say that?
yeah, you would. I don't know if it's a case of there's
Over-
a case to be made. I think it's like he's there.
So you're saying
You think he 100% is
I
the
think
GOAT?
he's the greatest
Messi,
of all time.
you think Messi's the greatest
greatest
athlete of all
ever?
time?
Athlete to ever live.
over MJ, over Serena, over Tua Tagovailoa?
Don't get me wrong. MJ, I think, is the second greatest probably ever. And but
Tom
he's playing
Brady?
a basketball, but he's playing a sport that isn't as renowned worldwide as soccer is. If you're the best in soccer, you're the best in the world. I don't care what other sport you play and how good you are at that sport. Now, to say that you're the greatest ever within soccer or football, as our fellow Europeans might call it, or everyone else in the world,
Well, it's soccer.
then
It's definitely
you're the
soccer.
greatest. You're the greatest ever, man. It's just the dominance. Like I think it's like 5 or 6 Ballon d'Ors, like the greatest player in the world. Only thing he needed left was the World Cup, and he was able to get that. It's incredible.
I'm happy for him. I also think we were debating it off screen, but I think it is the hardest thing to do in sports is winning a World Cup. Or
Yeah.
that sounded
It's
weird,
definitely the hardest championship to get
Hardest championship
because
to
it's
get.
also just the least frequent, right? It only happens every 4 years. So and you only practice with your team like once a year if you're
Yeah.
playing in like a Euro league or something, or like some sort of European league where you're playing with your national team or whatever it is. Like you're not practicing with those guys. Those guys all play on different club teams. Like, and then you have to build that chemistry for that massive worldwide tournament, the World
Yeah.
Cup. So to win it all against the best players in the world, like
I
literally
totally agree.
every of the best players is
And
playing
when-
in this tournament.
The World Cup is by far the hardest thing to win in sports out of anything. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
I think
And-
you have a point to that.
Well, no. I was just gonna say like not
over
only-
over a Super Bowl,
Yes.
over an NBA Finals, over a Formula One championship, over a Grand Slams
In
and
tennis,
in
yeah.
tennis, over table tennis, over whatever you win in cricket in India over there,
Golf.
golf.
Yeah.
Winning the World Cup is by far the hardest thing to do.
The other thing
in any
about
sports.
soccer that's so crazy is like you can't take over a game in the same way by yourself.
Exactly.
Right? Like you have to play with your team. So that goes back to my previous point about like team chemistry is like you have to build that team chemistry so quickly for the World Cup. And so Messi's obviously the most dominant player in the world. That's why they're going to win. That's why Argentina's good every year. They have Messi, but like he's not able to do that by himself. You were saying before, they got a stacked team around him.
They have a really good team, but to be the best player on the best team, I mean, when we talk about like NBA MVP, it's the best player on the best team, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the times, like same thing with the World Cup, but it is the hardest.
I mean, the only thing I would argue,
I do.
Before you get into the Messi stats, the only thing I would argue is that like Tom Brady kind of did the same, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
but he
not
did it in football.
I'm just saying, like, of course, it's a different sport, but I'm saying Tom Brady. It's such a football is such a team sport. You cannot do it by
many
yourself.
variables.
It's not like the NBA where
American
LeBron
football.
can just carry the team to
Yeah,
the finals, but the NFL football, American football, this
American
kind of
football.
football.
Yeah, this one. Right. If I get it.
oval.
Is such a team sport, and Tom Brady, like he obviously won 6 with the Patriots, but then he proved that he can still take over by himself by going to Tampa and winning a Super Bowl. So I'm saying, I think there's a case to be made to say Tom Brady is the greatest of all time in any sport.
I disagree because if there's only so many opportunities to win a World Cup, if there was a Super Bowl only every 4 years, and Tom Brady's obviously going to have less Super Bowl championships.
No, for sure.
And because of that, you are not going to necessarily put him in the GOAT conversation.
Messi
the level
also-
of difficulty, the margin of error to win a World Cup, I'll let you get into the Messi stats, but like I think the biggest reason why I think the World Cup is by far the hardest thing to win is the ages and the physique. Like what could happen to a body chemistry over 4 years is
Oh my
far
God.
different
You
than what can
change.
happen over 1 year. So
Totally.
every year, the turnover rate for Tom Brady and the Bucks, or for Tom Brady and the Patriots to get better and to replenish is far easier than a World Cup team that might be 26 and getting older.
My
and older.
argument for sure, I get what you're saying, and Messi played in 5 World Cups, which is insane. So
Yeah.
did Ronaldo, but it's not like he's not playing between those 4 years.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
No,
what I
of
mean?
course.
So like,
You're just talking in terms of like the World
the World
Cup, how hard
Cup
it is to
though
win.
changes
for sure.
every time.
I'm
but-
saying the
Here's why
whole,
Tom-
but the team.
But
Here's
like
why
Messi's
Tom
playing
Brady's
every
not close to Messi though, because Tom Brady's competing against a bunch of Americans in an American sport. Messi has to be the best in the world. All of these countries in the world are all playing soccer. It's their number one sport for the most part.
Yeah.
And you got to be better than all these guys that are playing since they were 4 or 5 years
I
old.
actually
yeah.
agree.
So,
You got
and not
Messi-
only that, but Brady has 3 MVPs, I think. So if we're talking about individual accomplishments, Messi has 7 Ballon d'Ors, which is essentially the same thing,
Right.
best player in the world.
Right.
But again, you're playing against the world.
You say
So
7?
7.
Sheesh.
7 Ballon d'Ors, 2 times the best FIFA men's player, 3 times UEFA best player in Europe, 22 times top goal scorer in his league. 22 times.
22 times?
22
How old
times.
is he? 34?
It's like 36.
But how many-
34, 35.
35?
10 times player of the year, 4 times player of the season, 1 time World Cup winner, and obviously now 3-time FIFA club. All right, it's like too much. I could go on forever. I think I've said the main ones. Champions League winner 4 times, which is obviously very hard. Spanish champion 10 times. Like literally, Tom Brady has. Here's a comparison, right? Tom Brady has won 7 Super Bowls in the NFL. Messi won 10 Spanish league championships in his league, right? And then he won 1 in France too with PSG. So I mean, it's just insane the kind of accomplishments.
But
that
how
he's
many
had.
times has Messi been divorced? Because
Zero.
Brady wins that
Zero.
one.
Actually, I saw
I'm just saying.
Messi.
You hear that?
They were
He has-
comparing. It's funny you say this because I
Brady
saw a
has
TikTok.
something that Messi doesn't.
I saw a TikTok though that no, but maybe I mean to each their own. But I think Messi has the leg up there. But I saw I saw this thing comparing Messi to Ronaldo. Ronaldo's been a guy who's gotten around in terms of the people he's slept with.
but official divorce documents.
Messi is married to and
Like a
has
high school
children
sweetheart
with
or
a
some
girl
shit.
that he's known since he was 9 years old.
Yeah, well, that-
high school, elementary school
wild.
sweetheart.
Yeah, but we know
they
how that
have
works.
4
And
or
she's
5
beautiful.
kids together.
She's beautiful.
She's beautiful.
Yes.
They have a great life together. The guy doesn't get around. He is just about like, let me live my best life. I'm
Did
gonna
you
be the
just
best
say he
soccer player.
doesn't get around?
Not that we know of. we know.
Brother.
Why would you put that on him?
Yeah, agreed, bro. Don't
It's not him. It's just. You're crazy if you
Not
think
everyone got bad morals like you, brother.
Bro, you think
Fact.
LeBron James been with Savannah since they were in high school? You think that man doesn't? Why does he have 3 homes in LA?
I'm not going to
Why
assume
does
the
the
worst.
plug-
I'm not going to assume
man?
the worst of him.
Why do you have 2 phones? One for the plug, one for the drugs?
Publicly, I'm just saying. I'm not going to assume the worst of him. Publicly, he's only
I
been
am.
with one woman forever, and they got 4 kids. Beautiful life. Like they got a whole good thing
Never
going
any
on.
scandals
And now
outside
he's
of
the
a tax
goat.
deal.
Now he's the GOAT. Definitely has the leg up on Tom Brady in that department. So.
Except for the divorce.
By
But
far.
yeah, I'll give you that.
I think Jordan's closer to him, and then if we really want to talk GOATs, Floyd Mayweather.
So can we quickly rank GOATs, top 5 GOATs?
Before you do that, I have one more record that Messi broke. I don't know if you guys
just set the record for the most likes on Instagram from April.
I did see that.
Well, Tom Brady doesn't have that. So if you didn't hear what Ben just said that Messi also broke the record for most likes on a single post in Instagram history.
I'm gonna find it right now.
Let's find that post. So that's something that Tom doesn't have.
People love Messi, man. I think Messi's one of the most likable athletes.
How many likes?
What's your guess? What's your guess?
Set the line.
Yeah, what's your guess?
I don't even know where to start.
My guess, 17 million.
42 million.
45 million.
Let's go!
Man,
45.3 million likes on
That
his Instagram post saying, that we're champions, whatever. He wrote it in Spanish.
Brady, everybody respects Brady. You either love him or you hate him. A lot of people hate
Giselle.
A lot of people, okay.
Sorry,
a lot of people hate
a
lot of people love Brady. You don't really see people that don't like Messi.
That's true.
For example, Brazil and Argentina, huge rivalry. Brazil literally praised on Argentina's downfall, same way, other way around. And Brazil everybody was rooting for Messi. So it's just shows you the respect that this guy guy garners. Not only respect, but just admiration. People like Messi.
I feel like that, if anything, that's what makes soccer great as well, is the respect that opponents give. Now, obviously, everyone respects Brady, but outside of Brady, I feel like there's not many other athletes in the NFL where someone is outwardly praising someone. Whereas in soccer, you see that the Messis, the Ronaldos, even Mbappe, the respect after the game, whatever that stupid dap is that they do, everyone there's a different level of admiration for one another, in my opinion, in soccer.
He also
No? You don't think so?
Well, I think some guys like Kobe had that.
Yeah, but it's far fewer, I feel like, in American sports than it is in soccer.
Maybe there's also just way more people in the world than there are just in America. But
can we rank them quickly?
Yeah, I was also just gonna say the longevity that Messi has is ridiculous, and the fact that he's still the best player. And he's
incredible.
35 years old, and he's been doing it since he was 18, 19.
Quickly, let's rank the best athletes of all time, including Messi. What would you put the top 5?
Top 5 athletes of all time. 1, Messi. This is off the dome.
Off the dome.
Yeah.
5 greatest athletes of all time off the dome. 1, Messi.
Okay.
2, Jordan. 3, Floyd Mayweather.
Dude,
Wow.
4.
It's not that hard.
4.
Say it.
Let's see.
No, don't see. It's right in front of you. Say it.
4.
Let him do it.
No.
Pele.
Whoa.
5.
Bruh. You're just asking for it.
Deion Sanders.
Okay. If anything, put Joey Chestnut.
Yeah, agreed.
The real
one Messi.
1 Messi, 2 Jordan, 3 Brady.
Brady, a football player cannot be in the top 5 greatest athletes ever. Nobody cares about football.
I do.
In the world.
You do.
I do because we live here. And I grew up in
apparently
Texas.
Germany really loves the NFL football too.
Well,
what
they
about
have one game a year.
I think it's 1 Messi, 2 Jordan, 3 Brady, 4 Floyd, 5 Joey Chestnut.
Okay, I was gonna
6 honorable mentions.
I like 1 Messi, 2 Jordan. I agree. I think I'll put Brady 3. I think there's an argument for Roger Federer, who just dominated the sports.
That's why off the dome is hard.
Dominated the sport for 20 years and was the best player ever. Obviously, there are guys who have more wins than he does, but he totally changed the game of tennis. No one ever played like him. He was the best player, best skill by a lot. I'm gonna put LeBron at 5. I'm a huge LeBron fan. I might be a little biased, but just the longevity that he has of being the greatest player for 20 straight years, literally the best player in the NBA for 20 straight years, I think there's no kind of athleticism like LeBron has.
What's your top 5 athletes? Let us know below. All right, well, let's talk about some NFL football.
Yeah,
after
bro.
the real football.
Craziest week in the NFL this week.
I think so.
Insane.
Crazy week in the NFL, but first let's address and acknowledge the Texas High School Football State Championships. Dallas runs Texas, baby.
Wow.
Duncanville, South Oak Cliff, and DeSoto all winning Texas State Championships. Dallas wins owns Texas. Houston.
Yeah, what happened to Denton?
We lost in the semifinals to
I'm
DeSoto.
sorry to hear it. Shout out Denton.
We were 10 in the country though, and then we lost.
Okay.
But hey, shout out Dallas.
So let's stick to Texas
now
though.
Now to less important.
I do want to stick to
NFL.
Texas though because let's talk about your Cowboys for a second.
What happened?
What happened?
What happened? Well, what happened is the Cowboys play down to competition. It's nothing new. They've done it in the past. They play up to competition. They play well against the Vikings. They play well against the Bengals obviously were coming off a Super Bowl. And then they play bad against the Texans. They play bad against the Colts for 3 quarters before they scored 33 points, and they play bad again against the Jags. And it's not that they play bad all game. They were up 27-10. But then that's when a good team, you got to close somebody out. You can't let them hang around. And we've seen it time and time again. We saw on Saturday the greatest comeback of all time. The Vikings came back on the Colts. That should have been closed out. And the Cowboys couldn't close out the Jags.
Do you think the Cowboys should be worried?
I think they should be worried from a sense that they don't have the consistency offensively. Dak is. Look, I've been the main one brushing off the interceptions. A lot of people bring up, oh, Dak has been throwing interceptions, the most interceptions since he's came back. And I say, like, a lot of that is on the receivers. A lot of that is miscommunication. A lot of that is on Kellen Moore for not scheming up the best offensive plays. But at some point, like, this is becoming a problem. Like, you can't – I think Dak had 2 interceptions yesterday. One sealed the game. It was a pick 6. Again, it was on the receiver. But you just brought in T.Y. Hilton. That's not going to help timing.
Well, allegedly
did he play this week?
Allegedly, you're getting Odell.
Allegedly, no, he didn't play this past week. But that's what I'm saying. It's gonna only get
timing's
only going to get worse.
T.Y.
Allegedly, you're bringing in Odell. Timing is the whole problem here. And if you can't get on timing with your receivers and stuff, you're overthrowing receivers because they're not in the right place at the right time. We all know Dak is accurate, so it's mainly like a timing thing. Then you got to get worried at some point. But like I said, I'm not super worried. Like I said, Cowboys play down the competition. I don't think they're going to play a bad team in the playoffs. So,
are you worried about the Cowboys?
I think the Cowboys are setting up to be the Cowboys. I mean, you've always said it. The Cowboys, they have expectations. You start getting hot, and then at the wrong time for them and the right time for a hater of a Cowboy fan like Jack, who he's not here, but I have to give the Cowboys for him.
Matan.
Yeah. Well, do you actually hate the Cowboys that much, even though you're in the same division?
I hate the Cowboys more than
Giants
any
fan.
team in the whole world.
Really?
he's a Giants
Yeah.
fan.
You haven't been as vocal about it.
I'm a nice guy.
He's a nice guy, man.
That's true. That's
I'm
true.
respectful.
No, but I think the Cowboys are setting themselves up to be the Cowboys. You're going to make a wild, you're going to get the wild card spot. You're going to probably go into a Philadelphia or a Minnesota or something. And just the expectation is going to be far too great for what you want as a Cowboys fan. Or
can I argue that you're setting the expectations lower?
I do agree. I was thinking about that this morning, that like because the bar is lower, the downfall or the fallout of them potentially losing wouldn't be as great. However, when you look at the amount of wins that they've had, some of the ways that they've won, you're like, this team should compete. Like if you look at the NFC right now, there's only 3 teams that should compete, and one of which should somewhat be disqualified strictly because they don't have a quarterback in the most important position. That's the 49ers. Like out of the entire NFC, obviously there's 3 big superpowers.
Who are
the 49ers, the Cowboys, and the Eagles. However, the one fraud, you know that meme where it's like army, clown? The clown in this case is the 49ers. Now, I don't actually think. I think it's a very violent clown.
Do you know that meme?
Yeah.
You don't know?
I don't know that meme.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, when they're standing outside the door, they're like ready to go
yes,
in.
You do. Yes, you do.
Army
You
clown.
can also make the monsters or the 3-headed monster
It's like,
meme. Yeah, that one's
it's
good.
It's like, like, and again, I think the Niners, like, they are a team that can't compete. You can't rule them out. But
This
they
one?
have, that's
Got you.
like.
Never seen it.
You never, bullshit.
Oh,
Bullshit.
not bullshit.
Oh, that's a classic.
Whatever.
Bro.
It goes Dallas or it goes Philadelphia, Dallas, 49ers.
What about the Vikings?
Well,
You think that the 49ers are the clown?
No. Hold on. I'm saying in the big 3-headed monster race. I'm not even talking about the Vikings because I think the Vikings are
I like
so
the 3-headed
overrated.
monster meme. That's
Yeah,
a good
the 3-headed
one.
monster one. That might fit better based off of just wins. But when I look at the Niners, they have the worst quarterback out of the 3 teams. So that's why I bumped them down a tad. Their defense is just so good. But yeah, this
the
right here.
3-headed monster. Like
if anything, that
Eagles,
one goes,
Niners, Cowboys.
But clumsy, you could still win with a clumsy dragon. You know, dragon tails. Let's
Dragon's
all go
still
to dragon.
powerful.
Come along, sing a song. Let's all go to dragon.
Bro, this kid's so ADD.
I don't know words, bro.
So what I'm trying to say is, as a someone who's not a Cowboys fan, I am somewhat disappointed because we've always talked about their defense, Micah Parsons, and the way that pass rush is able to win. However, in the last 2 games against below average pass blocking teams, and I know you're probably going to come back with pass blocking grades.
Yeah,
but against the
Jags are one of the best pass blocking teams.
Okay,
in the
but
league.
against the Texans and against the Jags, you're able to have 1 sack in 2 games. For me, that is a cause for concern. On top of the fact that I don't think the Cowboys possess right now knockout power, but I put that more on Kellen Moore.
They don't have knockout power. They beat the Vikings 40-3. They beat the Colts 75.
Did you just hear what I said?
You just said they don't have knockout power.
And I'm putting that on Kellen
So I
Moore
just said
in
they
teams
do.
that they need to be able to beat, and teams that they should put away. The Packers.
I disagree. You're not going to face the Texans in the playoffs. You're not going to face the Jaguars.
If you
in the
can't
playoffs.
put them away, what makes you think you could put a better team away?
Because it's all like I said, you play up to competition. Of course, dude. They beat they beat the Vikings 40-3.
And the Vikings are that meme on steroids.
The Vikings are
stink.
11-3.
The Vikings, I don't care. We were literally just talking about the Texans. When we walked in here, you literally said the Texans can't rule them out. They're not that bad. You're right. But the reason I said that the Texans are not that, or I guess
Are you worried about the Chiefs?
No.
Then why would we be worried about the Cowboys?
Because they just lost, or they lost to the Jags. They almost lost to the Texans. Correct me if I guess they blew out the Colts, but they've lost to the Packers, who are a terrible team. They do right now. I just said I'm putting it on Kellen Moore. I think the play calling, they're trying to get too cute.
Yeah, play calling needs to be better.
Run the ball. Like that's my biggest concern with the Cowboys. However, if it's going to be Dallas versus Philadelphia, I think it's going to still be a fantastic matchup. I'm not going to overreact and say that the Cowboys can't win a Super Bowl because of these mistakes. I agree with you. The Jags are a good team. Anyone saying the Jags are not a good team, I think is just crazy.
You worried about the Cowboys?
Am I worried about the Cowboys? Slightly, but I don't think it's something where you hit the panic button.
I agree.
Like,
I'm thrilled about the Cowboys right now.
well,
Sure.
you're
A lot of
thrilled
people are.
anyways.
A lot of people are.
You're
Thrilled.
thrilled anyways because of the Giants.
Yeah,
The Giants
bro.
pretty much locked up a
Giants
playoff
have a
spot.
90% chance of making the playoffs now.
That's
Yeah, well, hey,
Impressive.
the game was a little rigged, you know?
Yeah.
But you got to win somehow because Tom rigged it all the time.
I take it. Yeah, exactly, bro. It was just missed calls by the.
Do you think at this point
referees.
the NFL the NFL officially has a case to be made in saying that games are rigged in some capacity?
I saw that play with Terry McLaurin. I saw how he like looked towards the sideline to the ref, and he was like, "Good."
Twice.
I mean, I'm
Not once, twice.
obviously biased as a Giants fan.
That's
I'll
cool.
take it. I think probably it was a miscommunication with the ref. I don't think. I mean, the ref was dumb. Clearly, if the ref.
He went to go grab it before.
That I am agreeing. I'm saying he clearly misinterpreted whatever the this means because
Dude.
when because
pretty sure
he
this is
so
universal.
quickly
This is universal.
he so quickly went to throw the flag. So like I don't know what happened in that ref's mind where he was like telling him it's okay where he was standing and then he throws the flag. Definitely at the end of that game, pass interference, missed call.
Yeah.
I think in full speed it looked like a great defensive play. Definitely in slow mo, like it looks like a PI.
I was gonna say this isn't the.
I don't think it's rigged.
This
My,
isn't
my
the-
point is I don't think it's rigged. I think that people jump
Rigged
to
is
conclusions.
I think rig is a harsh word because rigged like
It's
what
not
I think is
scripted.
there's some skewed bice. So obviously these refs
there are
can't bet
missed
on.
calls in every single
But
game.
that's what I
Yeah,
was
but
gonna say.
Every
those are,
single
that's
game.
not a missed call. That's not a. You didn't miss the call. You made the call. You made the call by saying he checked with you twice, and you put your hand on it before it was even snapped. So now, as a ref, you could vocalize, "Hey, move up, move up, move up." In which Terry did move up, and you just pulled it right away. So I'm not. That guy definitely just bet.
I don't know
under.
what the hell. I don't know what the hell was going through the ref's head there. Like
I think he bet the under is what is going through his head.
I don't know if it's rigged, but I mean, like Matan said, this happens in every game, and I guess the better question is like, we just need better officiating.
How does that? How do we make?
we do
officiate?
like the rough and the passer calls this year have been bogus.
Yeah, they have.
The
PIs have been bad.
PIs have been bad. I mean, obviously those two on the Giants were missed for sure. But then the Raiders wide receiver, the touchdown, he was also out of bounds. Why did we give him that touchdown? His foot was out of bounds. If you haven't seen that, go back and there's a clear picture of his foot out of bounds, 2 feet. They said it was inconclusive. It was very conclusive. We need to up the technology or the reviews or whatever it may be. And I don't think like we want to slow down the game because that's what the NFL doesn't want to do. So the game's already slow enough. But find a way to where like this like as soon as a play happens, we can tell pass interference. His hands were on the
Like
receiver.
soccer.
Boom.
I'll tell you how we fix NFL officiating. We find them the same way we find a player. If a player can fake an injury, if a team can fake an injury, if someone could unnecessary roughness in some capacity, if there's a penalty, if you're at fault for something, there should be consequences. And we don't hold
like that.
referees.
I don't like that either.
They're not
because
getting paid like
the
players are
ref
getting
is
paid.
just
It
making the
could be
call based on
proportionate,
how
though.
they see it.
It could be proportionate though.
Yeah, but they can miss something. A player getting a fine for a unnecessary roughness call, that's something he willingly did on purpose that he knew was wrong. You should get fined for that. A referee missing a call, that wasn't on purpose. You
Dude, you
shouldn't
can
get
get
fined
fined
for
for unnecessary roughness just by trying to
What
have
Adam's
a proper
trying
hit.
to say though is that it was on purpose because it's being rigged. So like,
In that case, yeah, you should get-
if
no, you
he
should
is
get-
calling it wrong on purpose, then yeah, obviously
Then you
it
should get fired.
incentivizes.
A fine.
Agreed, you should get fired.
I agree with
Agreed.
you, but let's take another good example. Like that's when it was Saints Rams in the NFC Championship,
Oh my
right?
God,
Or
that
was
was
it
terrible.
divisional round?
Yeah.
That was a blatant call. So if you miss those calls, the only way to hold the referee accountable outside of saying
Is that
in
the game
review,
that they changed the PI?
Yeah.
Review
Outside
system?
of coming after, which
That
you
was
know they're going to
wild.
come out today or tomorrow and basically say that should have been called and the referee messed up. There's no consequences for the referee because he's going to ref another game starting next
Facts.
week. So I just think the only way to hold the referee accountable is the same way you hold a player accountable for doing things. You have to find them in some capacity because this is just going to continue. I agree. There's going to be missed calls. The same way unnecessary roughness is or other things that sway the momentum or when someone gets injured, you may not find them, which is totally fine. But when you bring up the argument of they're getting paid way more so they can get fined, make it proportionate to the salary of the referee because referees are also getting paid a decent amount. They're getting paid more than us, I'll tell you that. And I just think you got to hold the referee accountable at some point because it's just getting out of hand from roughing the passer and these rig type of calls, how many times do I need to see on TikTok? I'm not going to name the person, but this is why NFL fans think the game is rigged. Like, you're right. That's the reason. Because of shit like that.
I do want to talk about, though, the outcome of that game was kind of vital for both teams, the Commanders and the Giants, in terms of the playoff race. So I do want to go through
Let's talk some playoffs.
Teams that are kind of on the fringe of the playoffs and talk about what they might need to do to get there, what else the playoff picture looks like. So if you want to pull it up on your phone, you should definitely look. In the NFC, we got the Giants and the Commanders in the 6 and 7 spot right now. Mm-hmm. Dallas clinched playoff berth. I assume they clinched the division, but I don't know.
When I'm looking at it, the Cowboys have locked up a playoff spot. When I look at the NFC South, bro, from the Bucs to the Panthers to the Saints to the Falcons, like at this point, I think the Bucs are so bad. I don't know how you fix it. You can't blow a lead like that to the Bengals. The Bengals are great, but you stink. Tom, you stink. You f***ed your fucking marriage. Wow, the double F. To go, what are they, 6 and 9?
6 and 8.
Oh, 6 and 9 would have been way cooler. So I would rather see the Saints get in, or the Panthers get in, or the Falcons get in, just because the Bucs, like, that is bullshit for you to get in like that. I mean, the Bucs are terrible.
So Tom Brady, bro, he always finds his way into the playoffs.
If the Packers find a way into the playoffs too, like, this is.
Can they? Yeah, I guess they're in the hunt.
I want to see the Lions right now. The Lions are a team that I hope gets in the playoffs. The Detroit Lions.
I don't want to see them in the playoffs.
Like, you don't want to play them, is what you're saying. No. Yeah, the Detroit Lions are scary because they can put up points with anyone in that defense, which is very similar to the Bengals of last year, where a team that can put up points and then have a defense overperform, right? Like that.
Yeah, but Goff isn't Burrow though.
Correct.
That's the only thing there.
And
totally they don't have the receiving threats that.
I totally
Jack
agree.
would disagree.
I would love to see the Detroit Lions in the playoffs. Not like play them, because granted, my team's in the AFC.
I like
but
how you say Detroit.
Detroit? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Detroit.
They're a team that would can win a wild card game, upset somebody, and then lose in the division. There's no way to make it past.
So you're saying the Lions are the number one team in the entire NFL that could upset a divisional winner?
No, that's the Cowboys. But the Cowboys aren't being slept on by anybody, really.
No, the fact that the Cowboys are 10 and 4?
Yeah.
Right, like they would be leading the division in
most.
All right, so how would you, if you could choose how the NFC playoffs went, what would you want to see it look like? Like from like matchups wise, like who clinches, and then what do you want to see? Obviously, I think your Cowboys are in, but in terms of teams that are in the hunt,
I want to see Eagles Cowboys for sure in the playoffs. Yeah. That's the most electric rivalry there would be. Also, like those are two teams we've been talking about all year. Who's going to win in a head-to-head, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so I'd love in the playoffs, bro. That would be electric to see.
Fun.
I would hate it because it would suck for me. But the Eagles, I've accepted, are the best team in football.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys, I've also accepted, are very solid.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, it would just in terms of like the best game we would see, it's got to be that one.
You know what I would love?
I mean, obviously Chiefs, but
I would love the Lions to sneak in over the Commanders, play the Vikings in Minnesota, and upset Minnesota.
Wow, that would be awesome.
That's exactly what I want.
That would be awesome.
That could happen.
It could happen, bro.
In on Dan
Didn't they
Campbell?
just beat the Vikings last week?
Yeah. I love Dan Campbell.
They can beat the Vikings again. I think they can do it.
I'd run through a brick wall for Dan.
The Vikings suck too, bro. They're 11-3.
Knowing that Detroit though is such a tragedy case though, like historically.
Will say, though,
we
do have to give credit to the Vikings because they came back from 33 down.
Dude,
33.
facts.
I don't care who you are. That is a crazy number in one half.
The best
they used their talent in the end. Dalvin Cook for that run for the win, right? At the
Vikings and the Texans are literally cut from the same cloth. The only difference between them
they're
is
the opposite.
But they're cut from the same cloth, right?
Yeah, sure.
So on one end, you have the Texans who don't really have any talent, but they're going to lose and fight and be gritty. And Lovie Smith's beard is going to get longer and longer as they get closer.
They put up the fight that no one expects them to put up, whereas the Vikings don't put up the fight that they are expected to put up. But they win. So the Texans put up a fight in every game, and then they lose. They have one win.
Well said. And then
they have one win, right?
One win.
And then the Vikings have all this talent, don't put up the fight, and then they look terrible the whole middle section of the game, and then in the last 3 minutes they win the game. So it's the exact opposite.
It is. I don't know. The NFC, when I look at the NFC, there's only really three teams that I think have a chance to make it out. It's the 49ers, the Cowboys, and the Eagles. Outside of that, I don't think anyone cares necessarily. Like, I don't care to see a Bucs matchup. Unless it's the Lions. I'm all in, like I said.
Yeah, but you have to give Minnesota respect just because they're 11-3.
Agreed.
I don't need to do anything.
But you don't need to. But I think there's four teams. I agree with you. The top three teams are the Eagles, Niners, Cowboys, and then the Vikings are 4, but they're still a team you have to look out for. They're 11-3.
I don't necessarily think this would happen, but like if the Bucks do make it into the playoffs, like I just don't think you could sleep on Tom Brady.
I agree.
Like
I wouldn't want to see Tom
sucks.
in the playoffs either.
I'm just saying, no, I think they'll make the playoffs, honestly. But like I find it'll be difficult it's a difficult reality to see the Carolina pulling ahead. But if the Bucks make it, Tom Brady, you can't count him out.
Who is the Bengals?
And look, I know we've been saying it all year, every week. We're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is the week they're going to turn around.
But that
they
blown
haven't
lead
done
was
that
really
yet.
bad. Who's the Bengals of the NFC from last year?
There isn't one.
Yeah, but going into the playoffs last year, you don't.
It would be the Lions, but no. The Bengals were. There's just no clear comparison. The Bengals were a young team with a quarterback that was absolutely balling out, crazy receivers everywhere. Obviously, the Lions have a good offense too, and then their defense was pretty good, but the Bengals were just much better than the Lions are.
I don't know who could be.
They have a different makeup. Is what I'm saying.
Different makeup, yeah. I'm just saying, like in terms of teams that could potentially surprise someone
Yeah,
by
it's the
going on
Lions.
a run.
It's the Lions.
What about the AFC?
Yeah, let's go to the AFC playoffs. The AFC playoffs right now.
Like the AFC East is interesting here.
I still
also.
think there's 4 teams in the AFC right now. That at least
Which
I
teams?
feel there's 2 teams clearly at the top. Like that we know that they
Chiefs
should
and
be
the
there. It's
Bills?
the Chiefs and the Bills
Yeah.
that we know should be there. Then you got the Bengals.
They're both 11-3, the Chiefs and the Bills.
Yeah. The Bills, the Bengals, we know that they're a team that can get hot. I think the Bengals are the one team in the AFC that I'm terrified of. I'm more scared of them than I am Kansas City or Buffalo, just because of clearly, and you said it, you said it on last week's episode. We haven't seen the Bengals be able to put up, 40 unanswered was a little crazy, but 24 unanswered, I think it was, or whatever, some absurd number. Down 17 to Tom and Tampa. We know Tampa stinks, but to come back and win, I think they put up 34
huge.
unanswered.
That was huge.
What did they put up?
Something like that.
I think that was the conversation last week. You said the Bengals are not dangerous because they could not put up, what was it? They could not put up 40 unanswered. Well, they put up 27 unanswered, essentially.
Nice. That's
So
still really
the
good.
Bengals terrify me. When I look at the Dolphins, the way the Dolphins, that Bills game, it gives me hope.
Well, that's your team.
That gives me hope, though. That makes me feel better.
Well, no. But what I'm saying is, you asked who would be the Bengals from last year this year. I would say in the AFC, it's either the Dolphins or the Chargers. I think the Chargers could make a Bengals run.
I agree.
I think
the Chargers are turning it on also the second half of the
Chargers
season.
are getting hot at the right time. But
The Bengals are also, by the way, they didn't start so great either, and they're doing it
10-4.
again.
They're
They're doing it
10-4.
again. They're 10-4 now, exactly. They're doing it again. Like they're coming back strong in the second half of the season and turning it on when they need to, and getting the wins when they need to.
By the way, just took the division lead in the AFC North.
Yeah.
Good
I
for
think-
them. They deserve it, though. I think the Ravens,
Well,
even
Lamar's
if,
got to come back next week, right? And then it's going to be a battle for that division.
but even if the Ravens had Lamar, like the Bengals are a better team.
Totally. All
sure,
season.
but the Ravens beat the Browns with Lamar.
How many times we got to
Bro,
pull out
Huntley
one game?
looks so bad. Huntley looks
Yeah,
so
but how many
bad,
times
bro.
can we pull out one game sample sizes? I'm not talking
I'm
about.
just saying record-wise. I mean, record-wise, if the Ravens would have won
He's
last week,
saying
would
if
still
they
been
had
first.
won, they would be first.
They'd still be first.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's
Yeah,
why
yeah, I
that
see what you're
one
saying.
game is important.
I don't know. When I look, I don't trust the Chargers the same way I don't think I trust the Dolphins, even though I'm a Dolphins fan. Like I haven't seen enough of a reason to say like, yeah, they can get it done. Except that Buffalo game was something that gave me confidence. So if you're a Dolphins fan, you got to feel good about leaving that game.
Who do the Dolphins play this week?
Green Bay, but it doesn't matter. They could lose. It has no effect on the playoffs. The Chargers, on the other hand,
I think they'll still win that game.
Dude, if the Dolphins lose, it'll be 4 straight losses. You have to worry.
You have to win.
You have to worry.
better than 5
You
straight
should worry
losses.
now. You lose 3 straight.
not.
No team that loses 3 straight shouldn't be worrying, especially this close to the playoffs.
Do I got to go break down my entire analysis again? Why I'm not worried? I think that was too much.
You
Yeah,
broke
it's
it down
too much.
earlier as a Dolphins fan, but I'm just saying you lose 3 straight this close to the playoffs. We're like a month away from the playoffs.
You got to start
be
winning
worried.
for sure.
No doubt. But I just start working on the things that you are. And I said it to you, and this, I won't even go into depth about it. But the reason I'm not concerned about the Dolphins is because you were playing so well against below average teams. And then you play the good teams, the teams you're going to face in the playoffs, and you had deficiencies exposed. You had things that you were struggling with, whether that's against the Niners being able to run the ball and going up against the best defense, going against the Chargers and having someone scheme up against you in a way that can stop the middle of the field with Tyreek and Waddle. But then you go up against Buffalo, who has one of the best defenses, in Buffalo, one of the hardest places to play, in the Buffalo weather, which is one of the worst to play. And you show that you can run the ball 170 plus yards or whatever it was on the ground. Tua can still throw in the snow. And there are a lot of calls that can go back and forth. The Dolphins were still in a position to win. I'm not worried about the Dolphins. That made me feel better as a fan.
All right, so you mentioned 3 contenders in the NFC, right? So what the Cowboys, Niners, and Eagles. The 3 contenders in the AFC: Bengals, Chiefs, Bills.
Correct.
So there's 6 contenders right now, really, that we're looking at. Like
Correct.
true contenders.
Yeah.
Should we rank this?
And then there are a couple bubble teams.
Yeah, I think bubble teams
Like
Dolphins, Vikings. I put
Dolphins,
Yeah.
Vikings.
I think the Dolphins and the Vikings are similar.
Ravens.
Ravens, they're all all these bubble teams. Can we rank the 6 contenders in the NFL right now?
Yeah.
Sure.
So those 6 contenders to rank are the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Bills, the Bengals,
The
the Chiefs, and the Niners.
Vikings.
Niners.
Why'd you say
I'm
Vikings?
putting the Niners over the Vikings.
Yeah, I
So if we
agree.
rank those,
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
if we rank, we'll do it together. We'll,
All right,
we'll
Eagles
debate
one.
this. Eagles 1,
Yeah.
best contender in the NFL.
Yeah.
Chiefs 2.
Chiefs.
Yeah.
Bills.
3,
3.
might put
I go
Bengals.
Cowboys.
I might put Bengals.
I'd say the Bills.
You put
I think it's between the Bengals and the Cowboys.
the only reason I'm putting Bengals
You don't think
over
the Bills have a shot in that?
No, that's not what I'm. That's not.
We're
what
just
I'm saying.
ranking them
We're just
right now.
ranking them.
Yes, I still think the Bills are better.
The Bills didn't look great against the Dolphins.
The Bills haven't looked great.
They
in
haven't
the last
looked great
couple
the
of
past few weeks.
I think the Bengals are deadly. The only reason I'm knocking the Cowboys down that one spot, because I'm going to put the Cowboys 4, is because of losing to this Jags game and
Totally.
these last.
Which is why the
I guess
Bills
we're
have
just
dropped
ranking
as well.
them right now, but like if we're talking
Yeah,
about
right
who
now.
I think is going to win in the playoffs,
Yeah,
the Bills
sure.
are,
Right now.
Bills are gonna
Contenders-
beat
contenders
both
right
of
now.
those teams in the
Contenders right now.
playoffs.
So 3, I'm going to say Bengals.
Bro, I'm
I'm
good
still
with
going to
it.
go Bills.
I'm with you. I'll go Bengals. I'll go
All right,
Cowboys 4.
2v1. All right.
All right, fine.
So 3 Bengals, 4. I'll say Cowboys.
All right.
Oh, you say
Matan's
Bills?
got a different list. So
I have
it's
the
like
Bills
difficult.
at 3, so why would I put them at 5?
Well, it's 2v1 again.
Bills
Democracy.
twice.
It's fine.
Democracy.
Yeah, we're deciding together.
Cowboys, 5 Bills,
And then,
Fine.
and then 6 Niners because
6
quarterback.
Niners. Yeah. All right. So I'm curious. But out of that, like the 1 through 5 can go any single way. It's
I
like
agree.
1A,
I
1B,
totally agree.
1C,
Anyway.
1D, 1E, 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 1E. You know, like it go. The letters cut off. After
Letters are
Seasons-
hard.
letters
The
cut off.
seasons are closing out to be really, really exciting, man.
Yeah,
Definitely,
I'm
bro.
very
That was
games are gonna
a
be
wild
pivotal.
week.
Yeah. By the way, I've admired you. I've been sizing you up a little bit. Wonderful jacket you got over there. Good fit. You
You
look
know,
great.
Bro,
I appreciate
that's
it. You know,
the Dorian Finney-Smith in you.
Dallas Mavs, but I had to bring out the Texas. I got the little Texas logo on
Show
here.
the camera. Show the camera. Bring it
Yo.
around. Bring it around.
Can we move
This
the
is for
mic?
this for all my Texas
Nah, you can't
people.
see that, bro. Move the mic
Move the
out.
mic.
really
Move the
can't
mic.
see-
I'll narrate. Here we go. Hold on.
Right here, right. Yep.
All right. So Lipe's got a wonderful Texas logo on the left nipple. All right, if you're looking at it, he looks
Keep
fantastic.
his mic back.
Got the mic. Get the mic back. Blue hat to go with it. The green, the subtle. The green.
You
not
look
only-
awesome,
You look
Felipe.
great.
Look,
Don't.
dude,
Come on.
this
Come
is-
on now.
I'm complimenting.
I
This
know.
is for all my
No, I
Texas
wasn't saying
people.
anything.
All right.
This is for my Texas high school football coaches. In
Shout
the
out them.
comments. This is for Luka.
For Luca.
This is for Dak.
It's for Dirk.
Cleveland.
This is for Dirk, the greatest athlete in NBA history. And
Goat over Messi, obviously.
over Messi. Nah, but if we're talking about greatest Europeans to ever live in sports, Dirk is probably in the top like 30.
Yeah, Messi's Argentinian.
I thought you were gonna say like top 5 or something. I thought you were gonna come out with some crazy take. I was excited.
Nah, 'cause think about all the soccer players.
Yeah, but it would have been
Fact.
fun.
But yeah, man, no, shout out Texas, man.
David Hasselhoff.
Yo, great week of football, though.
Great. Wait, do we have any cappers? Any
Yeah,
hot
so
take
I got
submissions?
2 saved right here. So let me bring out
Yeah.
the cappers,
I
man.
really like this jacket.
Dude, I appreciate it. I felt
Bro.
like Gio. You know how Gio always brings out like the little sports bomb.
Get
and
Adam
shit?
a Hanukkah gift and buy him one of those
Yeah,
jackets. Why
yeah.
don't
Happy
Bro,
you?
it was
Hanukkah
expensive, man. It was
also.
expensive,
Happy
actually.
Hanukkah.
Yeah,
Happy
Hanukkah
Christmas
to
coming up this
all
week.
my fellow Jews.
Yeah.
What about my jacket? You like my jacket?
Yeah.
It's
You little hoodie,
soft.
you always got the
Dude,
soft,
check
like,
that. This one, my girlfriend bought me. My
Yeah, this
girlfriend's
is
mom.
good.
My girlfriend's mom bought me
By
this
the way,
for
happy
Hanukkah.
birthday to
My
happy
girlfriend.
post birthday, I guess,
Thank
to
you.
Andy.
Yeah, thanks.
Looked like a great weekend.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I like the jacket.
Thanks, bro. It's so cozy on the inside. Look at that.
Yeah. Oh. By the
Well
way,
deserved.
I promised someone an apology quickly. I'll do this very briefly.
Go ahead.
My cousin reached out to me for some fantasy advice heading into this
Oh,
playoffs.
yikes.
He asked Ramondre Stevenson, Zonovan Knight, or someone else. And
You told him Zonovan Knight.
yes, because going against that Detroit defense, I expected them to be
Yeah.
better.
You say
Ramondre's
Detroit weird.
Ramondre balled out.
Ramondre's injury worried me a little bit. I should have known. Charlie, I'm so sorry. I really just want to apologize from the bottom of my heart. I you.
Charlie, Adam has 4 fantasy wins this year. Don't listen to him ever again.
Yeah.
Well,
that's-
I'm in the playoffs for two of those.
Okay, well, your
8
team is
games.
bad.
50%.
Then.
Getting
Success
a
rate.
call.
All right, cappers. We're bringing in hot takes now. Welcome these guys to the cappers.
Welcome.
Number 1, Hearsay. That's his name, Hearsay. He tagged all of us to make sure we didn't miss it. He said, hot take, December has the best football games regardless of record. So I think what he
I
means.
mean, this week proved that.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but December's always been like rivalry week in a way, right? It's always been divisional
rivalry
matchups.
week, and it really matters because a lot of teams are on the bubble.
This
like
also,
the Giants
this
right
sets
now.
this sets the predictions for the playoffs. Like this is all where the playoffs fall into place, right? All
Yeah,
those
pretty
these
much.
games.
Pretty much. Because
Bro, this week was insane. We had like the greatest comeback in NFL history. We had a whole
Literally.
bunch of walk-off wins. Like
Chiefs in OT,
ridiculous
the
football
Cowboys
week.
in OT.
Ridiculous football week.
Yeah,
just
nah.
insane. I totally agree. Maybe not every year, but like I think it's pretty consistent, and this week proved that.
So December's
Good
the best.
take. Good
December's
take.
the best football month.
Good take.
Easily.
Would you take it over the playoffs?
No.
I think the NFL playoffs are a little
we
bit
gotta be
overrated
only
at times.
We got to be talking only regular season here. If we're talking, it's a whole different animal. The playoffs, bro.
Yeah, but like when you get like the wild card picture because your first two seeds get buys, so like they're not playing.
Yeah,
So then you get like a couple bad games in wild card. I would argue that some weeks in December
are better.
are a little bit more exciting than maybe the wild card week. I think when you get to the divisional in the NFL season, then in the playoffs, then I think super exciting. But December games,
I still like the take. It's a good take.
good take.
Welcome
Shout out
to the
Hearsay.
Cappers.
Welcome to the Cappers. Capper number 2, the notorious DIV.
Nice, good name.
Cowboys are still good. Jaguars are just elite. I liked that one. Yeah, he's saying don't mind the Cowboys loss. Like they're still good. It's not that they're bad. The Jaguars are just elite.
The Jaguars, we were just saying before, the Jaguars have the brightest future of any team in the NFL right now.
One of them.
Can you
Yeah.
say it again? I'm dealing with a little bit of a crisis. I missed the hot take. Can you just say it
Are
again?
you like texting about fantasy right now?
No. The intercom for my apartment, there's some packages, and someone's trying to get in, and it's frozen.
Cowboys are still good. Jaguars are just elite.
And then I was saying that the Jaguars have the brightest future of any team in the NFL. Trevor Lawrence is clutch. He's proven that he can develop into an elite player in this league. They have all these weapons around him. They played a great game yesterday. They beat a great team in the Cowboys.
I think that's one of my points too.
I don't think they're actually quite yet elite, but they can get there.
elite.
Bingo.
Okay, so we all kind of
I
agree.
think the Cowboys are good. Not worried about the Cowboys. I think
Slightly, but
I'm not
Very
too
slight,
worried.
very slight.
The Jags, to say they're elite, like I don't know what's above elite. So I can't say the Jags are an elite team just yet. I think
They're not.
are. The Jags might have one of the best futures, the brightest futures in the entire NFL when you get Calvin Ridley back next year, Trevor Lawrence's third year, and a coach that actually is going to know how to call offensive plays.
I hope.
But to say that the Jags are elite, I think is just a
it's jumping the gun.
A little, yeah, it's an
It's for
overreaction.
well,
sure
yeah, 'cause
jumping
we
the
talked
gun.
about the true contenders, and the Jags aren't that right now. I don't even know what their record is. Let me pull up their
Bro,
record.
you
I have
got to
it.
be at like a 12-win team
They're
to be called elite.
They're 6 and
You
8.
know, like
But they're a good football team, and I think the biggest difference from last year and this year, and it's an obvious take, is that Trevor Lawrence is so much better. He's so much more confident. You can see the confidence. Them playing from behind yesterday, he wasn't rattled at all. He fumbled the ball. Should have fumbled the game if the Cowboys knew what to fucking do with the ball with the minute 30 left. They gave him the ball back, and he drove down, got a field goal, and then obviously they won the game. Not on his hands, on the defense's hands,
Yeah.
but he just looks so confident. A lot of talent. The receivers are good. The running game is good. The defense is young too. Josh Allen's one of the best, most slept on players in the league.
Josh Allen, the defender.
Josh Allen, the defender.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think the Jags are really good. And I think people are sleeping on that game in general. Like the Cowboys, yeah, they blew a 17-point lead, but they blew a 17-point lead to a good team.
Yeah.
So,
Welcome to the Cappers, though.
good takes. Welcome to the
take.
Cappers, Notorious DIV. Great take.
Tiggy, I'm happy to have you.
Hearsay, great take as well.
Yeah.
December, great football games regardless of record. Totally agree. So, welcome to the Cappers.
Welcome. All right. Well, that was our Monday recaps, of Caps Off. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to follow our socials at Caps Off Pod on Instagram, at Caps Off Podcast on TikTok. Join our Discord. Go to any link in our bio.
Yeah, come shoot the shit.
And if you're from Ohio, sign up. Go to thegameday.com for any bet offers, anything you want to get in the action, whatever you want. Get your Caps Off merch, capsoff.shop, thegameday.shop.
That's right.
And that's it. Thank you.
We'll see you Wednesday.
See ya.
What do you think the playoffs are going to look like? Comment down below. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this to your friends. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And if we get to 10,000, Jack's going to get an ass tattoo. So please.